Hey everyone, Captain here. Impromptu video. Just saw this photo that I want to give the incredible Sean Brennan credit for. Man. This has to be one of the worst photos I've ever seen of George. I mean, this is incredible. One of my favorite things about this photo as an example of so many things George does is almost everything he ever criticizes anybody of, he does himself. And there's a long list. But what really made me think of it was, look at his shirt. It looks like it's unbuttoned almost all the way down to his unwashed belly button. He's got his chest and his cleavage showing, and this is a thing he said about Sean Brennan in an older video, is, oh, you're showing your cleavage or something like that. And the funniest thing was, on that video that he made, was his shirt was unbuttoned the same way here. In so many cases, he complains about people and the things they say or do, and while he does the exact same thing. It's not that he does it later or he did it before. He does it virtually while he is making the complaint. Another good example is Piss 4400. He was giving him tips on how to make better videos and telling him, I think, that he needed to show his face. But in the video, George was showing his old ass fence in his backyard that looked like it was something that could have been from a Civil War enactment that Yanks would have gone to. I mean, that fence looked ancient, but just like he was telling Piss to show his face, he wasn't showing his face. This guy's hypocrisy really, it doesn't have any limits. But you look at this, look at the way he's dressed. The cuffs of his dress shirt are not buttoned. The sleeves of the suit go down mid forearm, so it's terribly ill-fitting. His gut looks like it was the iceberg that could sink the Titanic. His hair is disheveled. He's got his mouth hanging open, like he said about Sean, something about sucking a mean dick. This is just staggering. It's rumpled, wrinkled. It looks like he stuffed it in the corner of well, he doesn't have a trunk since he drives a van, but it looks ghastly. Who would put that on and think that, well, fortunately for him, he's just in the hotel room. Who knows if he's left with that thing on, but we do know he does, because he turns up all the time like looking that way. Anyone else would be appalled to go out looking that way, but for him it's a normal day. It kind of makes me think of I took a class once, and this was in my early 20s, and the instructor very graciously went over job interviews. And some of his advice that, to me, as a kid who was like 20 years old or so, thought was brilliant, was, when you buy clothing to wear to a job interview, you know, you want to dress up nicely, wear a suit and tie, show that you're really serious about it. And more importantly, have a woman pick out your tie. That was this guy's advice. I think I would do just fine picking out a tie myself. And looking at this picture, obviously Kevin could have used that advice. But George, he could use that advice with his entire wardrobe. And I think that advice that he gave was directed at people like George, who have absolutely zero fashion sense. I mean, imagine this. George drove his car to a place that sells clothing, got out, walked in, looked around, saw that yellow obscenity on a rack somewhere, picked it up, found one that fit him, and then paid for it because he thought it looked good. There's not a price someone could pay me to wear that thing. Not even a black man like Big Willie could style that thing. You put that thing on, and anybody that sees you in it, they know immediately you are a fucking dope. This picture is just shocking. He's looked bad before, but this really is the capper. I don't know that he's ever looked as bad. The only way this could be worse is if it had as many stains as that other jacket that he has. He would look completely in place if he was on a corner with a cup in his hand begging for change, with the way he looks in this picture. It really is staggering. Anyhow, don't want to make this too long. That's all I got. This is the Captain. Well dressed and signing off.